KWT slaying.
Salam, my family. Salam, how y'all doing today? Hope you're blessed and highly favored. So we're going to talk a little bit about prophecy. You know, that's what this is, the end of the world ministries. And I find it interesting that either people have a different view of prophecy, which is fine. You can have that. Or some people don't believe the Bible for what it literally says. Well, you know, that's on you. But I think when it comes to the times that we're in right now, you best take it literally and you best be prepared. And I think personally that, you know, some people just truly love Babylon. I really do. Some people don't want to leave Babylon. They like, you know, all of the, you know, niceties, the technology, the system itself. Even though we're at the bottom of the system, they like the system. And that's why you're not going to get the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth from a lot of people. Because as they say in the Matrix, some of the people you see will fight to keep the system in power. Some of the people that look like you going to fight to keep the system in power. Some people that look like you going to lie to keep the system in power while you're trying to separate yourself from the system. Baruch 4. Now, man, I love the Apocrypha. No wonder they kept it from us, right? See, if you had the Apocrypha back in the day, during the slave times and oppression and all that, Jim Crow times, you'd be like, hey, we must be the people, right? But anyway, Baruch 4, it says, she is the book of the commandments of Yah, the law that endures forever. All who hold her fast will live, and those who forsake her will die. Oh, hold on, wait a minute. She is the book of the commandments of Yah, the law that endures. So the law endures forever. They say the law is done away with. The law endures forever. All who hold her fast, who we talking about, the law, will live. And those who forsake her will die. You forsake the law, you will die. Turn, O Jacob, and take her. Walk toward the shining of her light. Why? Because the law is the light to our path. Do not give your glory to another or your advantages to a foreign nation. Don't give your advantages to these heathens. Happy are we, O Israel, for we know what is pleasing to Yah. So Israel knows what is pleasing to Yah. Encouragement for Israel. Take courage, my people, who perpetuate Israel's name. It was not for destruction that you were sold to the nations. Hold on, wait a minute. Nobody told me the Israelites were sold to the nations. That's what they keep telling me anyway. They keep telling me them Negroes ain't the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. But I'm just asking, when were them people over in the Middle East sold to the nations? Come on now. Somebody let me know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it. It was not for your destruction, Israel. It was not for your destruction that you were sold to the nations. You were in the captivity and were sold. You were sold, ties back to Deuteronomy 28, but they tell us Deuteronomy 28, not prophetic, but hey, you were sold. But you were handed over to your enemies because you angered Yah. That lines up with what we call canon. For you provoked the one who made you by sacrificing to demons and not to Yah. You forgot the everlasting Elohim who brought you up, and you grieved Jerusalem who reared you. For she saw the wrath that came upon you from Yah, and she said, listen, you neighbors of Zion, Yahuwah has brought great sorrow upon me, for I have seen the exile of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. So first of all, they were sold and they were exiled, obviously, right? Because they were sold and went to the nations. Come on, it all lines up. With joy, I nurtured them, but I sent them away with weeping and sorrow. Why? Because they were sold into slavery. Let no one rejoice over me, a widow, and bereave the many. I was left desolate because of the sins of my children, because they turned away from the law of Yahuwah. They had no regard for his statutes. They did not walk in the ways of Yahuwah's commandments, or tread the paths his righteousness showed them. Now, my question is, how can we be the people and the people in the Middle East be the people and the palm-colored people be the people, but they've never been into slavery? I'm just asking, and maybe I'm a little slow. I'm just saying, I just see a bunch of black folks, Negroes, who they call the N-word, go into captivity, go into slavery to the nations, sold into slavery, mind you. I don't see them other folks with the palm-colored. I don't see them other folks in the Middle East being descendants of slaves. I'm just saying. But we get gaslighted every day. Let the neighbors of Zion come. Remember the capture of my sons and daughters, which the everlasting brought upon them. So they were captured. Why? Because they were sold into slavery. Okay. Maybe we don't understand what we're reading. They tell us that too, mind you. They tell us we're not smart enough. For he brought a distant nation against them, a nation ruthless, of a strange language, which had no respect for the age and no pity for the child. Okay, I'm just asking, maybe I'm a little slow, but what other people went into captivity, sold into slavery, didn't know the language of the people who took them into captivity? I'm just saying, what other people and their children were taken away from them? So they had no respect for the age, the old folks, right? They kill us, they shoot us, they do this, they beat up an old man, they beat up the women, they shoot us in the streets, and they separated our children from us and put us into captivity. I'm just saying, I don't see the palm-colored people with this history. I don't see the people in the Middle East with this type of history. I'm just saying, but they keep telling us we can't read. They keep telling us we don't understand. Okay, maybe I'm slow. They led away the widow's beloved sons and bereaved the lonely women of her daughters. They took your children. I'm just saying that Deuteronomy 28, but they say that's not prophetic. But how can I help you? For he who brought these calamities will deliver you from the hand of your enemy. See, this is the time we're in right now. For Yahuwah, he is the one that sent us into captivity, but he's going to bring us out. For he who brought these calamities will deliver you from the hand of your enemies. Go, my children, go, for I have been left desolate. I've taken off the robe of peace and put on sackcloth for my supplication. I will cry to the everlasting all my days. Take courage, my children. Cry to Yahuwah, and he will deliver you from the power and hand of the enemy. For I have put my hope in the everlasting to save you, and joy has come to me from the Holy One. Because of the mercy that will soon come to you from your everlasting Savior. For I sent you out with sorrow and weeping, but Yahuwah will give you back to me with joy and gladness forever. So we're going back home, just like we say, second Exodus. For as the neighbors of Zion have now seen your capture. What? Because they went into slavery. They were sold. So they soon will see your salvation by Yah. So we're about to go home, just like we said, second Exodus. Some people say there's no second Exodus. Hashtag ain't no 400-year prophecy. That's what they tell us. But hey, okay. Which will come to you with great glory and with the splendor of the everlasting. My children, endure the patience. the wrath that endure with patience, the wrath that has come upon you from Yahuwah. Your enemy has overtaken you, but you will soon see their destruction. This is what's coming. You are about to see the destruction of your enemies. It is happening right now. And will tread upon their necks. What the Bible says, canon, what it say? The sons of those who persecuted you are going to bow at your feet. I'm just saying, but maybe I just don't understand. Maybe I'm just slow like that because I'm a Negro. My pampered children have traveled rough roads. They were taken away like a flock, carried off by the enemy. What? Carried off by the enemy. Sound like slavery to me. Sold into slavery, sold into captivity, took their children, took their sons and daughters. No mercy on the children and on the old folks. I'm just saying, and I'm just saying they carried us off by the enemies. I'm just, maybe I slow. Maybe I just don't understand what I read. Take courage, my children, and cry to Yahuwah, for you will be remembered by the one who brought this upon you. For just as you were disposed to go astray from Yahuwah, return with tenfold zeal to seek him. For the one who brought these calamities upon you will bring you everlasting joy with your salvation. Jerusalem is assured of help. Take courage, O Jerusalem, for the one who named you will comfort you. Wretched will be those who mistreated you and who rejoiced at your fall. But as a Christian, I don't have to suffer. I'm not going in captivity. Okay. Wretched will be the cities that your children served as slaves. Wretched will be the city that received your offspring. For just as she rejoiced at your fall and was glad for your ruin, so she will be grieved at her own destruction. This is where we're at today. But y'all don't have to listen to me. I will take away her pride and great population, and her insolence will be turned to grief. For fire will come upon her from the everlasting for many days, and for a long time she will be inhabited by demons. Does that not line up with Jeremiah 50:51? Does that not line up with Revelation chapter 17 and 18? I'm just saying, maybe I slow. Look toward the east, O Jerusalem. Look over towards the east, family, and see the joy that is coming to you from Yahuwah. Look, your children are coming, whom you sent away. They're coming, gathered from the east and the west at the word of the Holy One, rejoicing in the glory of Yahuwah. Family, y'all ready to go home? Give me a 1 if you're ready to go home. Give me a 2 if you not. I know some of y'all love Babylon. I know some of y'all love this poison food and this poison water and this poison air and the fuddy-duddiness. I know some of y'all love all of this stuff here just because you got a little electricity and some water that ain't clean. I'm just saying, I know some of y'all love you some Babylon, so you don't never want to leave. You're going to build your kingdom here. You're going to build your whole environment and your future in a place that is bound to be destroyed. I'm just saying. See, because here's the thing. I'm going to tell you this. And Brother Karras, tell me if you disagree with me. I personally believe that this thing is over. I think this thing is destroyed. I think you just don't see the end result yet. I think that if you're trying to build your future here and build your kingdom here and put your money here and build your homes and your house and all this stuff, I think you're building it on shallow ground. That's just my opinion. If you want to build in the system of Babylon and trust in the laws of Babylon and the government of Babylon, that's just your business. That has nothing to do with me, but I think it's destroyed. I think you're building your future on faulty ground, not solid ground, on shaky ground. That's just my opinion, because there's a lot of stuff happening. And so according to what the scripture says, hey, like I say, some people say we can't read. So, hey, maybe I can't. I got a pretty good education. I'm just saying, maybe we just can't read. But this whole thing is being torn down. And if it's being torn down, we have to go home. I'm just saying. Look, here's the thing. Let me ask another question because, hey, I like to ask questions. Do you believe the Bible and the inerrancy of the Bible and everything in the Bible and that, the truth is in the Bible? Give me a 1 if you believe that the Bible is true and that Yah's word is in it. I'm not saying there's no, translation, issues or nothing. I'm just saying you believe that what's in there is true. Give me a 2 if you don't believe that, because to me, some people don't believe the Bible. To me, some people don't believe the Bible because the Bible says X. The Bible says this, and you say, no, that's wrong. Example being, the Bible says that Jerusalem's surrounded by mountains, but y'all believe the Middle East is our land. I'm just saying, okay, then to me, you don't believe the Bible. Maybe I can't read. Like I say, that's what they tell us. They tell us we have comprehension issues. That's what they tell us. I'm just saying, if the Bible says Jerusalem is surrounded by mountains, but you say the Middle East is our home, I'm just, okay, then I assume you don't believe the Bible. I ain't mad at you. That's where you at. But understand, the Bible says, and I just read it from Baruch, that we will be sold into slavery. I'm just saying, what kind of people would do that to another people? Well, we know because we descendants of slaves. And who are the people that it has been done to? I'm just saying, well, we know because they're doing it today. What do you mean, Yacoba? Slavery's over. Slavery don't exist anymore, Yacoba. See, that's the problem with you Israelites. Slavery, slavery, slavery. Captivity, captivity. Curses, curses, curses. You're in Christ. You're not cursed. You're not cursed. No, as a nation, we are cursed. As a nation, we are cursed until we out of the land of our captivity, until we come back together, as the prophecy say in Deuteronomy 28, that those curses will fall on us. The Bible says we're going back home, Ezekiel 37, and as I read in Baruch, I'm just saying. But Yacoba, you just said y'all still cursed. Slave auction today. Video below shows another sale of children taking place today in the Congo. Local Africans grabbed the children from rival villages, march them to the mines, then sell them to the miners from ore mining company. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the so-called international rules-based order, still enslaving Israelites. Still in captivity, still selling us. The Bible says you will be sold to your enemies as slaves. Don't worry, we can't read, we don't understand. Imagine in the year 2024, something like this can be going on and not one peep from civilized society. You know what they're going to say? Well, there's no white men you see there. That's their own people. That's Negroes. That's blacks. Well, we don't know if those Israelites selling Israelites. And it very well could be Israelites selling Israelites because our people are broken. I'm not saying it's not Israelites selling Israelites because I don't know. No media coverage, no bleeding heart sensitive, tolerant liberals, progressives decrying modern day slavery, no Black Lives Matter protests, no economic sanctions. Yep. No deployment of military, nothing from the UN. Want to know why you're hearing nothing? I think maybe all those entities are just frauds, all of them. They only pay attention when there's money in it for them. They only scream, holler, and protest when the target is advanced Western civilization from whom they can get money for themselves. But here's the thing. And he's right about the fact it's about money because it's the corporations they're doing it for. Who's paying them? It's the corporations that's paying them. Who's behind all this, family? Who's behind it? Is it the Negroes? Is it truly the black man behind all this? Who's behind it, y'all? Well, you want to know who's behind all this? Well, let me show you who's behind all this. It's them people in the Middle East. It's them people who think they're you. It's the Revelation 2939s. It's the U.S. It's the Western nations. Oh, you don't believe me? Okay, let's see. American Israel mercenary Benjamin Rubin. Benjamin Rubin captured during failed coup attempt in the Congo. Sounds like a ish person to me. Sounds like a Revelation 2939 to me, but let's continue. American Israeli mercenary. American Israeli. He's an American and an Israeli. American Israeli mercenary Benjamin Rubin has been captured after a failed coup in the Congo. Why? Because he wanted to control the Congo, have the same system continue, control the slaves, control the mining of the resources. Rubin is allegedly a paid mercenary who published reports claim acts for former head of Israel's Mossad spy agency, Yossi Cohen, and also allegedly them folks, billionaire Dan Gertler. The video below, taken in the Congo, is said to show Rubin on his knees begging for his life after the coup he allegedly engaged in failed. You mean he's working with a raccoon? There's always a raccoon. Always a Judas. But guess what? He lucky it ain't me there. He lucky it ain't some of them Israelites right here in that chat. He wouldn't be going home. I could tell you that now. As a matter of fact, that'd be the end of the video. But, anyway. Rubin's reported boss, Yossi Cohen, is pictured below, standing behind Israeli Prime Minister. I'm not going to say his name. Here's the gang member. Here's the one behind everything. Here's the palm-colored person behind the slavery over there in the Congo. Here's the person behind the whole coup d'etat attempt. This is him right there. Even though they hired some, raccoons. This is the one. This is the gangster. This is the criminal. This is the, them folks who always cause trouble. That's him. Billionaire Dan Gertler is reportedly the Geopolitical guy, if I say that right, who allegedly did not care about kids in the Congo mining cobalt. Yeah, selling them as slaves. He's behind it. They're behind it. But hey, we complain too much, family. That's what they tell us. We complain too much. Slavery, slavery, slavery. Racism, racism, racism. Okay, well, y'all do something about it. But we're going to talk a little bit more about this stuff. According to the published reports, Gertler ingratiated himself to a previous Congo ruler for whom, when an uprising threatened, Gertler flew back to Israel, that place, right? And came back with very many fancy guns used to put the rebellion down. This is widely reported to be the second failed coup by Yossi, who is banned from entering the Democratic Republic of Congo. Why would a former Mossad chief have interest in the African nation of the Democratic Republic of Congo? Diamonds. You see, blood diamonds mined in Africa, cut and polished in that nation, or exported worldwide. The proceeds are used to sustain the economy and finance illegal settlements and genocide in that place. The diamond industry in that place goes back to before the Nakba in 1948. The diamond tycoons have long been involved in exploiting resources, rich African countries. One publication described it this way: economic might and ethical paradox of these people and their diamond industry. These people foray into the Congolese diamond industry marks a significant chapter in its economic narrative since entering the diamond trade in Congo in 1997. These companies have carved out a dominant position, contributing substantially to this nation's economy. As of 2016, cut diamonds accounted for an astounding 23.2% of this nation's total exports, making them the country's most significant export product and constituting 12% of the world's diamond production. This industry is not just a business sector, it's a powerhouse of national economic strength, bolstering this nation's standing on the global stage. Do y'all remember when Netanyahu said he about to bring some of that democracy to Africa? When Netanyahu said he's going to come and help deliver the Africans, y'all remember that? Say yes if you did, no if you don't. Y'all remember when Netanyahu said we're going to come in there and help the Africans liberate from who? From you? See, we keep getting gaslighted. They're going to liberate us, all right? They're going to liberate us from our land, from our resources, and from our lives if we don't watch it. Ain't nothing worse than the raccoons that be out there running things. But we are at war. Who do you think is behind it? Let me ask you a question. What nation of people you can't talk about today? I'm just saying. Who you think is behind everything? Well, I just showed you who's behind the Congo mess. I just showed you who's about enslaving the little children in the Congo. So who do you think is behind this? All of this stuff. Who's behind the stuff between Russia and Ukraine and the U.S.? I'm just asking. I'm asking questions because I'm not supposed to know. We are at war. Our lives are at stake. Did y'all hear about the assassination attempts that's been happening around the world to certain nations' leaders because they won't go along with the program? We are at war. We have been at war. We are at the final stages of this war. And it's not easy to fight because they're not straight up in your face. I told you, they behind you, they slap you in the back of your head and you look around and you can't figure out who it is because there's a whole bunch of people that look like them, but you don't know which one of them did it. So Africans are fighting, excuse me, Africans, aka African Israelites, because some of y'all don't want to be called Africans. I know. I'm not them people. I'm not an African. They're Hamites, whatever. Ignorance. But we're in the midst of a battle. And we have to fight not only them folks, but our folks. We have to not only fight them folks, but the traitors in the midst. We don't have to just fight them folks, but we have to fight people who are even on the continent. Y'all remember the stories of all of our sisters who are being deleted on the continent, in Guinea and different places. I'm going to play a video. I want you to listen to what she said, but here's the thing. She cusses a little bit, so if you're sensitive, turn it down. If you don't want your children here, turn it down, because I don't bleep out this stuff, right? I don't have the time to bleep it out. So if you're sensitive, but we're going to talk about this, and we're going to talk about how we're going to unite and how difficult it is uniting. And part of the difficulty of uniting is a Babylonian mind.
Grand Rising. I just got some really heartbreaking news, and I wanted to come to you guys to talk about it, and we need to share as much as possible. There was a diasporan woman here, or a woman from the diaspora, however you want to look at it. I met her literally just like a month or so ago, maybe more, and then I think I saw her about 2 weeks, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago. So I met her maybe at least more than a month ago, but saw her at least 2 to 3 weeks ago. And it's bothering me to find out that she was discovered murdered behind her home, buried behind her home. And supposedly it happened by maybe a partner that she chose or someone that was close enough to her. When I got the news, I literally, my chest has been hurting. As you guys know, I've been going through a lot here. And I'm not talking about small little, stuff. I'm from the hood. I grew up in the hood. So growing up in the hood prepares you for a lot of shit. Not kidding. Even growing up in the hood, you're not prepared for the fuckery here. It's on a different level of stupid. And it's, like I said, it's really breaking my heart. And I saw, I can't remember the sister's name, if it was TikTok or one of those, you know how we pass around all these different videos, it just goes and comes. But she talked a bit about how we've normalized poverty. And feel free to put your video speed on 2 times, because sometimes I slow down and sometimes I talk really fast. But essentially, she was talking about how people have normalized poverty. And I've said that a long time ago. So I will share some of the things about me because it makes this more poignant to those who get it. I mean, this is really bothering me, yo. I grew up in foster care and group homes. I left my mom when I was 9, and I didn't age out of the system. I aged out of the system when I turned 18 and had graduated from high school. My mother was a crack addict, a hardcore crack addict. And my dad was not around because he had his own family. I literally worked my ass off. Not kidding. Worked my ass off. And I know poverty better than most people, but because of the way I look, most people will not ever have an idea of that. And so that's why I said I would share this with you guys, because we need to have this talk, because clearly we have this romanticized idea of when I don't use romanticize, I'm being sarcastic and bringing awareness to this idea that because we see someone that looks well kept and well put together, et cetera, we make the assumption, not me, but average people will make the assumption that, one, I'm spoiled, and then I've been well taken care of by random whatever. They have no fucking idea how hard I've had to work. You know, one of the really messed up things is when you grow up in the Black community and you're a nerd, you get bullied. And I don't mean small, you get bullied. And that was me. So part of my challenge growing up also was because my mom was such a hardcore crack addict. My mom sold our food stamps. My mom literally was one of them. She sold our food stamps and I had to go to my neighbors to beg for food. And Chloe, who lived next door to me, I grew up in West Oakland, and this old lady, she was like a mulatto, lived next door to us. And I used to have to go and beg her for food. And as a child, I think even then I had a little bit of pride. I would go and ask her to borrow eggs or borrow this or borrow that. And she'd be like, get your little Black ass in here. You know, come on in here, eat. Because she knew what my mom was doing. She knew what my mom was doing. I'm sorry, y'all, but I'm gonna post this video anyway, because people need to hear this shit. I grew up impoverished like nobody would ever believe. And what's really crazy is because when people see me now, they have no idea how hard I've had to work to get to where I'm at. And I did it not being on my back. I did it without being on my back. So to get here to a place like Ghana, in other countries I go to, I meet so many different type of people whose lives they're literally doing better than me, but somehow I owe them something. So fade out, fade in. I'm looking at these people who have family homes. I'm meeting people who haven't had jobs in years, but yet their belly isn't empty. Let that sink in. Haven't had jobs in years, but their belly is never empty and they have a roof over their heads. Meanwhile, I'm here and getting bent over ass right damn near every time I go out to get anything, because people assume that I have it. This O'Bruni money shit don't finish. This O'Bruni this, O'Bruni that. This is not fucking funny. And we've had too many people coming here dying and getting murdered suspiciously all for this money grab that people somehow think we have just tons of money. And supposedly this is said just finished building her house, and that seems to be the issue, is once you build your house, get your land and build your house, suddenly you mysteriously end up dead. Mysteriously. But like I said, these people are the same folks that's out here robbing and killing us, are the same ones that got family homes, that have something to eat, have a roof over their head always, whether they're working or not. They're being taken care of and fed some way, somehow. But you're jacking and killing people who've come. See, so me and my brother, we was talking about, and I was going to do a separate video, and I made a comment about how much is enough. You literally got people coming here to Ghana, building schools, building roads, getting access, creating access to water, creating these NGOs to give funding for school children. What do you call it? Health fairs. When I say there's so much giving, it's ridiculous. But what do we get in return? What protections do we have? So this is something that needs to be discussed. We have nothing coming in. There's no reciprocity. So this is why I posed this question to the community. You got all these people talking, oh, you just haven't met the right people. Okay. So all these people that's been here 30 years, they ain't meet the right people either. They're not connected or not. Like, why are we still dealing with this shit? With all of these so-called diasporans somewhere around that's been here all these years, where's the protection? Where's the help? Where's the support? Where's the, I mean, this is where I said we need some Don Corleone shit type for real, where I can go and sit at your feet and I can come and give you my problems and let you know what it is. And, put the little cotton balls in your cheek and be like, okay, I'll take care of it. Where's that motherfucker that's word is bond and he's taking care of the shit, instead of all these milquetoast sermon ass niggas got all these great speeches, and then when we leave, ain't nothing happening. Everything is still the fucking same. Where are these people that everybody keeps imagining is there? They're imaginary friends. These people are. There needs to be protections for our sisters and our men. If y'all listening, your sisters need you, whether you're married to them or not. You remember that Jill Scott song, We Need You? We need y'all to, you don't have to be married to a sister to show support for her, check in on her, look out for her. I grew up in a time where people actually jumped in conversations, like especially when shit didn't look right. I'm not saying you got to jump in every conversation, every situation, but right now we're in a point where sisters need protection. And honestly, this shit hurt my feelings when I just got this information. I need people to stop looking at diasporans, all you people trolling my page and on my whatever, looking at diasporans as money bags. You need to go back to your community and have this discussion. I met an O'Bruni today and she said she had it harder than most Ghanaians she's met. I have. Even though I don't look like it, I have. And that's on God, I have. So y'all need to stop this bullshit of thinking that just because somebody was born in the US, that we're just rolling around in money, that we got a money tree out back and we can just go and pick money, or we got a well, we can just go and get a bucket and scoop all the money up. Stop thinking that stupid shit. Like, honestly, where do you guys come up with these dumbass thoughts anyway?
So she's right. Where's the Don Corleone? Here's the thing, and some of y'all are gonna disagree, but we got to move like a tribe. But here's the thing: a tribe has a chief, right? I'm just saying, somebody you can go to, say, "Hey, I need some help." This is the problem. We don't move as a group. We don't move as a tribe. Everybody wants to do things themselves, which I understand, because you can't trust most people. But the other thing no one is saying is that, my heart goes out to this sister and definitely goes out to the one who died. But I'm going to say this, and some of y'all ain't going to like it. Women shouldn't be moving nowhere. I don't care if it's the continent. I don't care if it's Europe or whatever, without a man. A woman should not be moving nowhere without a covering. A man is your protection. Look, we are going back to the continent. And when we go back, we're going back into ancient days. We're going back without the protection of Babylon. We're going back without the police, without the firefighters, without the doctors. Well, maybe we'll have some, but we're going back in the old ways, traditional ways, the way the world really works. And I'm going to say this, and some of y'all ain't going to like it. The woman is the weaker vessel. Come on, repeat after me. The woman is the weaker vessel. You need a man. You need a husband. That's why the Bible says when we go back, women going to take hold of a man and say, can I be called by your name? Look, I'll pay for my own stuff. I'm paraphrasing. But can I be called by your name? Why? Because when we go back home, women need a covering, need protection. You need a family. You need a head of a household. You need a tribe. You need a chief of a tribe. Now, here's the thing. We live in different times. And so some people disagree with Quest to Unite Africa and what they're doing. But be honest with you, that is what we need. We need somebody or a group or a company or a nonprofit to take the lead and build the level of unity and protection and organization as we can move as a group. That's how it works today. We have to move as a group. And if we move as a group today, it's going to be through some type of corporation, right? That's the only way you can do business. Problem is, you got to be careful who you follow and who you sit under. Problem is, you could end up with somebody, you know. I ain't gonna even go there because I don't want to get in that fight. But you know, I'm gonna just say this: pastors stealing your wives. If you don't pick the right people to be under, because you got to be in a group, you ain't going to survive by yourself. Now, what I'd have to say, I trust carers. I trust the team over there. Now, you know, for us, we don't have a lot of time to spend with them. But here's the thing. I can read people's personalities and their spirits and their goals and, you know, Quest to Unite Africa, heart is right, whether or not you agree with everything they say. Now, some people who are doing other things, I don't like them. I don't agree with them. Here's one thing. If you don't hear me endorse somebody and you don't ask me about somebody, don't come later and ask me later what I thought about that person. I'm just saying. Because everybody not like me, everybody's not like Karis, everybody not like Big Red, everybody not like Micah, you know what I'm saying? Our heart is for the Most High. But I'm going to tell you, most of these women that went to Africa went by themselves. They got the call for Black unity. They hear the call of the motherland to come home. But you shouldn't go there by yourself if you're a female. Without a male covering, you will not succeed. They will take advantage of you and they will murk you. You don't have the protection of Babylon on the continent. Well, why don't I just stay in America? You can. I'm not leaving yet. I'm going to leave when the Most High tell me to. He hasn't told me leave. But I will say this. You best be prepared for the fight. We're in war. The world is at war. Whether or not you know it, you are in fact a soldier on the battlefield. Whether you or not you know it, they have their rifles pointed at your head. Whether or not you know it, they're trying to take you out. Oh, I know you don't see it because it ain't obvious. It's behind the scenes, right? It's through lollipops. It's through the messing with your food and your air and your water. It's through giving you lab-grown meat. It's through the seedless vegetables and fruits. Oh, they got different weapons going on against you. The world is at war, specifically against you Negroes. But hey, we all about skin doctrine. That's what I keep hearing. No, I know when the, let me stop. I'm about to say the N-word. I know when the Negro trying to take me out. I know if you putting stuff in my seasoning and it says, oh, this is made of cyanide, and you put stuff in my vegetables and manipulate my fruit and manipulate my animals and manipulate my water, I have to look at you sideways when I see everybody getting sick. I have to look at you sideways when everybody got stomach problems. I have to look at you sideways when everybody got heart attacks. I got to look at you sideways when everybody dropping. See, you ain't going to get this truth nowhere else. I'm telling you. Ain't nobody going to tell you we got to move as a group. You want me to say it another way? We got to move as a gang. I know. I knew you Negroes were gangs. I don't care what you call it. It's protection. It's a tribe. It's a clan. It's a group. We got to move as a group. But some of y'all don't want to do it till it's too late. And then y'all going to come. See, look, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. And just let y'all know, you Karis, we're going to be helping y'all out a little bit more, as we can, a lot of health issues on this side and stuff, but we're going to be helping y'all. Because I'm going to tell y'all this. When all hell break loose and you need help, who you going to? You ain't got nothing set up. You ain't got no money put aside. You ain't got no systems in place. You ain't got nobody help. You're going to trust Babylon when Babylon trying to take you out. They're about to go full-blown totalitarian on your butt. But you ain't going to have no help. And you're going to be like, I need to get out of here. Let me call Karis. And guess what? Karis going to say, look, I can't help you. You ain't help me. We ain't help this. I got to get the people who've been helping me. I got to help them first. Now, if something left over when, you need help, hey, we'll do it. Same thing with Tail Ministries. We do all this teaching. We help y'all out. And guess what? There's still not 1% of y'all giving. Not one. But here, you ain't got to listen to me because I've been warning. And you can listen to all them other folks. I've been screaming. I've been trying to help you. I'm telling you, we got to move as a group. These people are at war. And things are changing just as prophesied. The Bible's coming to pass, and people want you to keep your head down. They say don't listen to Tail. They don't know what they're saying. Don't listen to them. They're extreme, and ain't nothing going to happen. And when it does happen, God's going to save us anyway. God gonna save us anyway. We ain't got to do nothing but wait. Well, couldn't God have saved the Israelites when famine came, but they had to go to Egypt, and homeboy Joseph had to go into captivity and then end up being second to Pharaoh and had to put away some grains so they could get past the famine. I'm just saying, y'all act like we ain't got to do nothing. Y'all don't act like we got to flee. Y'all don't act like we got to run. Y'all don't act like we in trouble. I'm telling you, you don't listen. And this is like one of the last warnings. I'm telling you, we are in trouble. This world is in trouble. The world is at war. Zechariah 1:18-21. And I looked up and saw 4 horns. I asked the angel who spoke with me, what are those? And he answered me, those are the horns that have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. Then Yahuwah showed me 4 blacksmiths, and I asked, what are they coming to do? He answered, those are the horns that scattered Judah. So they scattered Judah. They're the ones that put us in exile. They're the ones that sent us into slavery so that no man could be raised. No head can be raised. But these have come to terrify them. Who? The ones that scattered us. So the ones that scattered us, these carpenters are coming to put them in terror, to strike down the horns of the nations that lifted up their horns against Africa. I know it says the land, against the land of Judah, to scatter its people. Let me ask you a question. Where was Judah located on the maps? Africa, right? West Africa, Central Africa, all that. Right? So there's horns that's coming to deal with the ones who scattered Judah, scattered the people, and put them into captivity and into slavery, right? Now the question is, who could these be? Russia, maybe. Could be Russia. Could be Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Chad. Also, it could be Senegal, because things are changing.
Hello and a very warm welcome to you. You're watching Eye on Africa live on France 24. I'm Nadia Massi. The headlines for you on the continent tonight. Ousmane Sonko slams French military presence in Senegal. The Prime Minister saying foreign bases are incompatible with the country's sovereignty. Some analysis for you coming up. Also in this programme, Kenya hails a first milestone as the government and opposition of South Sudan sign a commitment to peace. This during talks in Nairobi. And as the Afropop Femoa Festival kicks off in Ivory Coast, we'll be hearing from the star, Femi Aledi. First then, to Senegal. The country's new prime minister has suggested that French military bases in the country could be closed. Ousmane Sonko describing such bases as incompatible with Senegal's sovereignty. France has around 350 troops in the country. It retains significant influence in Senegal as the former colonial power there. And that is a relationship Sonko has questioned for years, long before he became prime minister. Well, let's start the programme by taking a listen to a little of his speech where he criticised not just France, but the European Union.
We have passed the time when Africans could be manipulated by any people under any regime. You never heard the European Union denounce what was happening in Senegal. And worst of all, it was at the height of this persecution that President Macron welcomed President Macky Sall to congratulate him on having done what he had to do to save his country. It's an incitement to repression.
Well, Sonko there referring to the turbulence during the election campaign before he and President Bassirou Faye came to power in Senegal earlier this year. Let's bring you.
So, things are changing on the continent, and I believe it's prophetic. And remember, the scripture says that those are the horns that scattered Judah. Who scattered Judah? France. They're one of them. The Germans, the British, the Italians. But these, the carpenters, have come to terrify them, to strike down the horns of the nation that lifted up their horns, or their power, their authority against the land of Judah. Like I asked you in the beginning, where was Judah located? These are the ones that scattered us. How do you not believe we the people? And we were named on the European maps, Judah. We were scattered, as the scripture says. We went to the four corners, as the scripture says. We were enslaved, as the scripture says. Now, someone says Senegal Prime Minister is a polygamist. Yes, he is. And personally, I don't have a problem with it. You go, you for polygamy? I ain't got a problem with it. I don't think polygamy works in captivity. I don't think it works in America because there are no laws, there's no rules. I do believe it works on the continent of Africa, and I believe, according to the scriptures, polygamy is coming back. I believe, according to the scriptures, a woman or multiple women going to take hold of one man and say, can I be called by your name? I believe that the Bible don't have a problem with polygamy. That's me. You do you. Now, I'm not looking for no extra wife. I'm not looking for no extra wife. I'm good with mine. I got a good wife. I have a great wife. I don't need nobody else. I don't need no problems. I ain't young no more either, so my hormones don't drive me like that no more. I'm just saying. But I ain't got a problem with it. And I know some of you women got a problem with it, but guess what? You got a problem with the Bible then, because the Bible don't have a problem with it. Well, Jacob, the Bible said the bishop shall be the husband of one wife. Yep, a bishop. Therefore, by implication, for them to say that means some people had more than one wife. I'm just saying. I told y'all I'm a truth guy. I don't teach for the people. I don't teach to make people feel good. I teach the word of God straight, not diluted. The good thing is you have a choice. Guess what? You don't have to be in a polygamous household. You don't have to be married to a man who has multiple wives. You don't have to have multiple wives. See, that's the good thing. Free will. See, it's all good. You got choice. But the Bible gives it to you. But we are at war, and the fight is an indirect fight for the resources of the world, which is an indirect fight for the continent, which means you folks got to go, which means we have too much carbon. We need a climate change, if you get what I'm hitting at. But the world is in chaos. But a lot of people say or feel that Yakoba and Teo is always, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. No, we see the signs. You can look at the sky and see the weather's changing. Y'all can't see that the weather's changing. Look, just my opinion. You ain't got to listen to me. I told you, but we ain't got much time left. Everything's changing.
To strengthen the ranks of security forces, 17,000 kilometers away in New Caledonia, head out from France on a mission to quell the violence. In New Caledonia's capital, Nouméa, looting and arson continue despite a curfew and state of emergency. French troops have also been deployed to back up hundreds of extra police officers. The mineral-rich Pacific island became a colony in the 19th century. It still remains under French control.
La situation y reste très tendue.
The situation there remains very tense, with looting, riots, fires and assaults that are obviously intolerable and unspeakable. I would remind you that 2 gendarmes have died. A gendarme was shot in the head yesterday. Another gendarme died today as a result of a weapon mishandling.
When the rioting started earlier this week, politicians from the Kanak indigenous community accused France of trying to dilute their voting power.
L'Assemblée nationale a adopté.
The French Parliament has adopted a constitutional reform bill which will allow all French residents who have lived in New Caledonia for more than 10 years to vote in elections. The Kanaks, who make up about 40% of the population, say they're being marginalized by the French. New Caledonia has one of the biggest nickel mining industries in the world, but 1 in 5 residents live below the poverty line. These images of damage from the nickel mining industry.
Let me pause it right here, fam. I didn't know these people were here. They look like Negroes to me. They look like Negroes to you. They got Israelites over here. You mean once again the French went over to another island, found some Negroes, found some Israelites and enslaved and take over their property and resources, and now they're being kicked out as well? I'm just saying. I just had to pause it. And
industries in the world, but 1 in 5 residents live below the poverty line. These images of damage from the rioting were filmed on Thursday by a businessman who says he had to pass through roadblocks controlled by gunmen.
What is really happening is that as I move a lot to see family members or keep an eye on my properties, I see everything on the roads. I see the stores looted by the people. I see the fires in the docks, warehouses, offices. I admit, even I carry a gun with me all the time to handle any situation.
the reform bill needs to be ratified by Congress before becoming law. While French forces clamp down on violence on the orders of President Emmanuel Macron, he's also calling for dialogue with the opposition in New Caledonia. Right now, that seems unlikely. Andrew Simmons.
I'm just saying, fam, that look like Israelites to me. Does it not look like Zechariah chapter 1, 18 and 21 is happening? I'm just saying, maybe I'm seeing things. Look like prophecy coming to pass. And y'all want to build in Babylon? Go ahead. Buy your new cars. Buy your new homes. Become a part of the system. Ingrain yourself while they kick you out, while they replace you with migrants, you know. Attach to the system so that you can go ahead and be a part of their laws and their legal systems while they don't follow those laws when it comes to black folks. While they pew you and you don't have no recourse and you sue them and you go to courts and you lose. Yeah, makes sense to me. Go ahead and plan your life here when you can tell if you have any sense, any common sense, which common sense ain't common. We getting kicked out. And they trying to stamp down Negroes around the world. They're trying to even take over our home continent. Can we set up bases here? Can we set up bases there? Senegal, can we set up bases in your house? No, you got to go. Niger, can we set up bases in your house? No, you got to go. Well, you know, France, says the other Western nations and NATO allies. Why are you letting them kick you out? Well, you know we need them resources, France. We can't let them, because next thing you know, they're going to be having them Negroes coming back to the continent. And what's going to happen when they come back to the continent? We ain't going to get nothing. And if we do get something, we have to pay out the wazoo for it. We got to do something. Well, I got a plan. This is the NATO allies and everyone. You know what I'm talking about. Sitting down and having a conversation. Well, what are we going to do, big man America? What you going to do, France? Well, maybe what we can do is set up a proxy war, you know, Ukraine with Russia. Well, why do we want to fight Russia? We after Africa. Well, you do know that them Africans wouldn't be able to resist us and keep us off the continent. They wouldn't have no resources. They wouldn't have no guns if it wasn't for Russia. Till this day, the only reason they were able to kick some of us off the continent is because Russia helped them. The Soviet Union helped them. So we got to get rid of Russia first. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. That makes sense. All right. So we'll plan a proxy war through Ukraine. So we could take out Russia. And then we take out Russia, then Africa's ours. Lo and behold, there's war between the Ukrainians and the Russians. And guess who's been financing them? Well, the U.S. has sent billions and billions and billions to Ukraine. Russian Navy rocket gun missile firing starts this afternoon. This was Friday. Off the coast of California and Baja until the 26th in international waters shouldn't really affect any flights going to and from Hawaii. The Russian Federation plans to conduct rocket firings, impact area with the Oakland ARTCC. All right, so let's look at this right quick.
You're talking about Russian ships firing missiles off of our coastline. So we're going to talk about this and much, much more on today's episode of Marfugal TV.
I'm going to skip that little intro right there.
This today. And of course, Russia and Ukraine. Russia having their ships all the way over here, yeah, you could say that they're just doing it to obviously it's a message. If anything, it is at least a message to the US, right? You don't go travel across the world and spend however many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, in fuel to do that unless you're doing it for a reason. These ships are extremely expensive, even if it's a submarine, whatever it may be, because there is no confirmation on what is actually doing the firing. It just says the Russian Federation, which is kind of crazy in itself. If we're in a spot right now where we're recovering the Russian Federation, it sounds like something out of a Hollywood flick, right? Saber rattling, people say, yeah, and I guarantee that it is a much better way to say to yourself that this is totally okay, and I hope it is, and it will probably be good to be an optimist about this, but most of us really can't be with seeing everything else that's going on, but I am being serious. Like if you want to look at it as as something like a drill, then it doesn't hurt to have people positively thinking about the scenario. As far as what I think is going on, and I'm hoping it's not, is that all of these things are going to trigger all at the same time. When you look at Venezuela amassing troops, I've been saying this for a long time. The only way to beat the U.S. is if you spread out our military. If our military, and now our military has said that they've basically vouched for Guyana. They said, well, we'll help you train and we'll help you do this. It's like basically every country that's in a one-on-one battle, the U.S. has one side, China or Russia has the other. So if you look at all of the different kind of things that are going on right now. So with Venezuela and Guyana, I've been calling this. Nobody's paying attention to that, but they did a vote to take over Guyana. That would be one of the many places that would have to go off all at the same time for this all to go down like this. North Korea, there's news out of that. There's news about infiltration. Of course, we already know that we've been hacked and China has infiltrated our critical infrastructure. And it seems like a big old setup, like something big is about to go down. And if it was to go down, I would think that it would go down before we have a new leader. So we'll see what is going on with that. Before we move on.
So all of this going on, I'm just flabbergasted. I ain't gonna lie. But y'all tell me we ain't got nothing to worry about. Y'all want to keep doing things like you've been doing. You need to be preparing to leave. I'm telling you. Like I said on Sister E show. What happened when Russia was doing the drill next to Ukraine? Come on, I'm just asking. What happened when Russia did a drill on Ukraine? Nothing happened when Russia did a drill off of Ukraine. No, they invaded Ukraine. But hey, now, Brother Karras, you're moving a little fast for me, bro. See, stop reading my mind, Brother Karras. You're a little ahead of me, bro. Slow it down. Slow it down, Brother Karras. All right, so Russia, French, British operators of Storm Shadow bombardment of Russia hinterland with AASM-250 Hammer and AGM-88 Horn. France and Britain are attempting to break the last Russian red lines by leading the entire region down murky paths. Ukraine attempted for the first time to bombard Russian targets in Belgorod, Russian hinterland, with NATO weapons as approved by Paris and London. NATO weapons as approved by Paris and London. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense today, a series of explosions was heard in the center of Belgorod. Sirens sounded in the city and air defenses were activated. The Russian Ministry of Defense reported that missile attack was repelled. All right. 4 French-made AASM-250 Hammer guided bombs and 2 American-made AGM-88 Horn anti-radar missiles were shot down over the territory of Belgorod region. The deputy chairman of the Russian Security Council, Medvedev, took the discussion even further. In an interview he gave a few days ago, he revealed for the first time that Storm Shadow missiles are not controlled by the military personnel of the armed forces of Ukraine, but by the British and French who arrived in Ukraine. He also added, that is why the response to such actions will not be long in coming. What? The response to such actions will not be long in coming, and the target will not only be Kiev, but also London and Paris, and guess who else? You attacked the motherland. We know you did it. We know your hand was on the trigger. Britain and Paris and NATO. We know your finger was on the trigger because we know the Ukrainians weren't trained to do it. The goal of Russia's planned tactical nuclear weapons drill is to work out a response to any attacks on Russian soil that the West has allowed Ukraine to carry out with weapons it supplies. This vice president said, Security Council of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev. And not only with conventional explosives, but also with special ammunition, Russian troops will practice such attacks in the planned nuclear drill. So now you know why they're off the coast of California. Because NATO has been attacking Russia proper. I'm not going to read the rest. You can read the rest. But basically, that's why this is happening now. Based upon what Brother Karras was talking about in the chat, and, you know, he sees what I see. He is military, ex-military. NATO to hold biggest drill since Cold War with 90,000 troops. Brussels, January 18th. NATO is launching its largest exercise since the Cold War, rehearsing how U.S. troops could reinforce European allies in countries bordering Russia and on the alliance's eastern flank if a conflict were to flare up with a near-peer adversary. Some 90,000 troops are due to join the Steadfast Defender 2024 drills that will run through May. We're in May. The alliance's top commander, Cavoli, said on Thursday. So we at the end of the Steadfast Defender drill. Russia just happens to be off the coast having their own drill because they know we are at the end of the Steadfast Defender drill. They know that the NATO troops are over there in Eastern Europe. They know there's over 90,000 troops in this exercise in Eastern Europe. It ends at the end of May. Russia just so happens to be doing an exercise off the coast of California. A message to somebody, you want to go there, we can go there. But hey, don't worry about it. We don't know what we're talking about. We're always worried about the sky falling. See, nothing's happened yet. Little do they know, World War I took a few years to happen. Same thing with World War II, took a few years before it happened. I'm just saying, but some of our people lack common sense and the ability to reason and research and not be gaslighted by them folks. Add to that the continuing of new and crazy methods of warfare. What do I mean by that? As I said, this isn't conventional warfare. We have been in World War III for a long time now. It is getting personal, but they're attacking the foundations of each country and each, let's say, international order.
So Putin is in China, and his agenda is crystal clear. He's out to build a new order with China, one that pushes back against the West and splits the world into two. This trip is interesting because there's now a deep understanding between Russia and China. They recognize they need each other, and it's time to strategize against the US. President Xi told Putin that Russia-China ties should last for generations. Now is the time to consolidate the friendship between the two people, and it's all about countering US containment of both the Russian and Chinese economies. It's night and day when you compare Blinken's arrival to Putin's welcome. Blinken was greeted by the local mayor on the tarmac, but just watch the reception given to Putin by Beijing. It's on a whole different level. You have the red carpets, the military honor guards, the limousine. Basically, China rolled out all the stops for Putin. He was greeted by China's top female politician, Sheng Yiting. So the symbolism is all there. And if this wasn't enough for you, China took it up a notch further. They literally gave Putin a cheer squad and his red carpets everywhere. It's obvious this meeting means a lot to the Chinese. It's important to note this came on the back of the Blinken and Yellen's visits. Those were warnings to Beijing against dealing with Russia. They want China to scale down their trade with Moscow. Then we have the recent tariffs from the US on Chinese imports. Biden has hit China with a flurry of taxes that's just meant to contain China's growth, to slow down their economy. And as we've said, this won't stop. The US is even targeting Chinese cooking oil. That's insane. They are thinking of slapping higher levies on this import to protect the US soybean industry. Can you really believe this? How is this even possible? And it's quite crazy if you think about it. Sooner or later, everything from diapers to toys will have a tariff on them. As long as it's made in China, it's a threat to US national security. Beijing knows this won't stop. The great decoupling between the American economy and China has begun. The only way forward is to work with Russia. President Xi and Putin are going to strengthen each other's economy to flip the world order on its head. To Russia and China, this is now existential. We have to view both countries as one unified economic bloc. If Russia falls, China will be vulnerable, and vice versa. At the heart of this is the move away from the US dollar. The dollar, as we all know, is America's biggest economic weapon. It's the ultimate financial tool that can shape geopolitics. If the US doesn't like a country, they can block their access to the dollar system. And if things get extreme enough, Congress can freeze their sovereign assets as well. And that's why the faster China and Russia breaks away from the reserve currency, the better. And this is what Putin had to say about it.
Торговых потоков предало наше своевременное совместное решение обеспечить перевод двухсторонних расчетов в национальные валюты. Сегодня уже 90% всех платежей проводятся в рублях и юанях. Мы сейчас говорили о том, в узком составе, о том, по каким направлениям дальше будем развивать наши отношения. И все это в интересах как российской, так и китайской экономики.
In other words, Putin wants to further de-dollarize both the Chinese and Russian economies, put an end to dollar transactions completely when it comes to bilateral trade. It's now at 90%, why not make it 100%? When China buys commodities from Russia or when Moscow imports from Beijing, everything will be paid outside of the dollar in either rubles or the Chinese yuan. De-dollarization reduces reliance on the Western financial system. Putin confirms this in his follow-up statement. We can say our trade and investments are effectively safeguarded from the influence of third countries, and it's clear as day what he's referring to. He's talking about the US and their ability to influence a country's economy. In his recent trip to Ukraine, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken once again threatened to confiscate Russia's frozen assets. This will happen sooner or later. Our Congress has given us the power to seize Russia's assets in the US, and we intend to use it. He also confirmed that the G7 group is planning to unlock billions of dollars to teach Russia a lesson. And if you're China, you know anything can happen to you. It might be a trade war today, but it could be economic sanctions tomorrow. China as a whole has a lot of money in the US, both in the private and public sectors. There's always the fear of Joe Biden weaponizing the US economy against Beijing. The US currently holds $280 billion worth of Chinese company assets. It has grown tremendously over the past 15 years, from under 20 billion to nearly 300.
Thank you, Karis. I left it muted. So this is economic warfare. This is another tool in the box of war besides guns and missiles and all these things. And y'all hear me now, right? Give me one. And what we have now is, in my opinion, we're at the end game. Y'all do hear me, right? Okay, all right. So we're at the end game, in my opinion, because now they're dealing more with the economic system, and by China taking that 58 billion out of the U.S. economy and trying to get the rest of their money out of the system. They know that we're about to go to straight up pew pews. Let's put it that way. And with Russia off the coast of California, that's a message. Hey, y'all want to go? We ready. I mean, Putin been saying that. Medvedev been saying that from the beginning. Russia does not bluff. See, that's the difference. America might bluff. Russia doesn't bluff. When they tell you they're going to do something, if you do something, then they're going to do it. I don't know about you, but I know for me, I've taken some preparation. Don't mean the preparation is going to help, but if you live in your life like you did 20 years ago, all that's about to be taken out from under you. All of the banks shutting down, the companies are shutting down, people losing their jobs. We're at the end. This is my opinion. Now, what does that mean? I say it's relative, right? Because nobody has can see the future. But we can read the signs. And if you got any sense of how geopolitics move and how humanity moves and how Satan moves, we're reaching the end of the script. Because at the end of the script is to delete a lot of people, bring the world where it's down to 500 million, especially they want to get rid of the Israelites, the Hebrews, let's say, the Hebrews. That's what they want to do. They're not going to succeed. But this is a complex game. And so you're going to have people who are Hebrew Israelites that look just like you, who are going to tell you, don't worry about it. I told you, this is the same thing that happened during the time that they attacked our temple in 70 AD. This is the same thing that happened. False prophets were saying, hey, don't worry about it. God not going to destroy us or destroy this land because the temple's here. And God said, look, I'm out. Y'all by yourselves. Y'all rejected me. I reject you. I'm out. I'm going to let them have you. Same thing happening here. Y'all, some of y'all just can't see it. That's right, brother Kelvin. Hashtag ain't no 400-year prophecy. But they're going to gaslight you and tell you there's no 400-year prophecy. They're going to gaslight you and tell you what you're seeing is not critical. They're going to gaslight you and tell you you don't need to prepare. They're going to gaslight you so you can rest on your laurels and think that you're going to always have running water, you're going to always have electricity, and you're going to always have security, and you're not. They're about to shut this thing down. While you trying to get along with Babylon, while you trying to plan for your 401k, and why I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm just saying you making worldly plans in a system that is about to be destroyed. That's like, my philosophy. I ain't giving no financial advice. My philosophy is that anything that's invested in $1, I'm not investing in. That's just my philosophy. Because I know the system is being destroyed. And most people are not going to tell you, what they're going to do? They're going to do like ISUPK and say, give me your tithes. You need to give me your tithes. They talk about them Christians, but some of them camps out there doing the same thing. Give me your tithes. We just ask y'all to support us, but hey. But like I said, I do this for the Most High and for my people because I love my people. I'm gonna keep doing that. That's just the way I am. Till the Most High say don't, or until I can't. But everyone knows what's happened recently, and let's talk about this right quick. So I got to try to wind this up. This is a little longer than I thought it was going to be.
We begin your Monday morning with breaking news headlines at this hour. According to our content partners over at Fox News, the Iranian president, the country's foreign minister, and others have been found dead at the site of a helicopter crash after an hours-long search through a foggy mountainous region of the country's northwest. State media confirming. On your screen right now, this is video of that hours-long search, and you can see how hilly and foggy this area was. The Iranian president, 63 years old. Now, state TV is still working with their investigation, not giving any immediate cause for the crash in Iran's East Azerbaijan province. Joining us live this morning to further break down this breaking news headline, Ken Gray.
So y'all know who was behind this, right? Even though they're denying it, them folks in the Middle East, they're denying that they were behind it. But we know that they've been doing that from like day one. Pew pew this, pew pew that. I'm just saying. Now, will Iran do something? I don't know, because they didn't do anything when their general got tagged, right? So I don't know. And maybe they don't have enough evidence, right? But Russia is involved in the research, and Turkey is involved in looking at who's behind it. And, I guess we'll find out who is behind it, but we know who's behind it. The same people who've been behind all of the pew pews around the world. And I think it was the Slovakian prime minister who they tried to pew pew as well. Same people. I'm telling you, our lives are at stake. Y'all don't believe me? That's okay. You don't have to. That's why you have to understand moves have to be made to not be here. I'm not saying leave. I'm saying prepare. I'm saying be strategic. I'm saying make rational group level decisions. I'm saying move as a tribe. I'm saying we need to be the diaspora Judah. Not worrying about the Judah on the continent till we back on the continent. We need to be worried about us. I'm not saying not to form relations, because that has to happen. What I'm saying is we have to protect us because our lives are more at stake. I told you, your food is no good. Your water's no good. Your air's no good. Your clothes no good. The system is against you. The police is against you. I'm just saying, is something wrong here? Do you not see that? Do you not see that? Do you not understand that? They're replacing you with migrants. Do you not understand what's happening? We got to move as a family. I'm telling you, we got to learn to be a family again. We got to learn to be a tribe again. And I'm going to say this to any of the leaders out there. Don't manipulate your people. Don't steal from your people. Don't abuse your people. You have to be honest before God or for the Yah. You have to treat and look out for the welfare of your people. You have to look out for the welfare of their children. You have to look out for the welfare of the family. You can't look at it as individuals, because we're all in the same trap together, and we're all on the same boat together, and we're all sinking together. And the only way we're going to survive is together. This is why I don't work with people who can't see that, right? People who say, oh, no, don't worry about it. I'm not going to work with people who don't see that. I'm not going to work with people who say, Jacob and them putting fear on people. I'm not going to work with them just because they claim to be Israelites. Because I know for a fact, I'm on a sinking ship. Y'all on it with me. I don't care if you don't realize that. I don't see how you can't see it. But we're on a sinking ship, and the only way we're going to survive is together. I'm trying to help you. Even though I get abused a lot, and people get mad at me when I try to defend myself, but I told you that's just my nature. But, I backed off a little bit. If you notice, I don't say too much no more, because I realize, it's going to happen. Things going to happen. I'm maturing a little bit. I still got a single-minded goal, though. I'm telling you, look, here's the thing. I told y'all how I move. I'm going to tell you what I believe, and I'm honest with it. I think most of our people and most of our mores and most of our pastors and most of our leaders out there don't care about the people. They manipulate the word. They give half truths. They make stuff up. They try to keep you in your comfort zone so you can keep giving money. And I'm like, don't y'all realize the boat's sinking? Well, Yacoba, he's extreme. He only sees doom and gloom. I'm not saying I'm not a negative person. I'm not the person who's Smiley Joe. I'm not that person. I'm the cautious person. I'm like Big Red. Big Red said on Sister E, say, look, I don't trust nobody. That's me. That's me. I don't trust nobody but the Most High. That's me. But you do have to be led of the Spirit, and you got to let the Spirit guide you. Hey, who am I going to work with? Who cares about the people? Who's selfless? Who cares about the Most High? See, some of y'all still stuck in the high school days. Who's popular? Who's the popular kid? Who's not? See, I wasn't the popular kid. Y'all know that, right? I was not the popular kid. I did kick me some butt, though. Don't get it twisted. I wasn't a weak nerd. Oh, yeah, I told you I fought all the time. But I was not the popular kid. Why? Because I got my own mind. I don't go with the group. I say, you did that to so-and-so? No, I don't move that way. No, I don't do that to people. I'm not going against that person. Why do you hate them like that? Well, you can't be with us if you're not against them. Well, I guess I'm not going to be with you then. That's me. That's just how I roll. I told y'all don't have to believe it. I'm honest. You ain't got to like me. You can trust me, though. You ain't got to like me. You can't find one thing that I ever lied to y'all about. Not one, because I don't lie. Now, one thing I want to show this to y'all, and I probably shouldn't include this, because this really I think I'm going to do a part 2 on this because of where things are going, right? And There's probably like 3 years before this is full-fledged, but let me show y'all this.
The People's Liberation Army brought its go-to robot dog to Cambodia to participate in the exercise of Golden Dragon 2024. China's military showed off its dog combat robots, equipped with machine guns, on May 16th at the start of its biggest joint drills with Cambodian forces, as the US is nervous about Beijing's growing influence in the Southeast Asian country. The four-legged, remotely controlled hardware with an automatic rifle mounted on its back wowed the trainees, in front of journalists and dignitaries. It's solid, very high quality, and a lot of fun. The handlers kept the war dogs on a leash, only demonstrating their walking abilities, not their shooting skills. Chinese startup Unitary Robotics robot dogs with embedded AI cost just $1,600 each. This animal uses advanced technology for navigation and collision prevention, and a number of other unique capabilities, compared to American robot dogs by the manufacturer Boston Dynamics. Opening the drills, the commander of the Cambodian Armed Forces, General Vong Pison, said they would increase the capabilities of both armed forces in the fight against terrorism. More than 2,000 troops, including 760 PLA military personnel, took part in the drills at remote training centers in central Kampong Chong province and in the Siop Praya Sihanouk province. The 15-day exercise, dubbed Golden Dragon, also involved 14 warships, 3 from China, 2 helicopters, and 69 armored vehicles and tanks, and included live fire exercises with advanced weapons, anti-terrorism and humanitarian rescue. Vong Pison emphasized that Cambodia will never allow foreign military bases on its territory. This is in line with previous statements by Cambodian leaders.
So we have the Golden Dragon exercise. We have Steadfast Defender. We have Russia's exercise off the coast of California. All in May. At the end of May, Steadfast Defender is supposed to come to an end. I don't know what it looked like to you. Looks like war. I mean, shooting war on the horizon to me. Y'all don't hear the message? China got their Golden Dragon. China met with Putin. I'm just saying, maybe I'm overly concerned. I'm not really concerned. I'm good, really, because whatever's going to happen, either I go home to be with the Most High, or we go back to the continent. But like I said, and I'm going to end this, we are at war, have been at war. We're soldiers on the battlefield, whether or not we know that we are soldiers on the battlefield. You are a target, whether or not you understand that you are a target. Your family, your children are targets, whether or not you understand that. And we are the only people that's not united. We are the only people that cannot get along. We're the only people that weaken our nation by marrying other folks. I'm just saying, I don't really care who you marry. I'm just saying, think about it. Think about unity. Think about your interest. Think about your life. Think about what you want. Think about security and freedom. Everybody don't have the same goals because they're not the same people. Do you think some of them folks care whether or not you're free? They care whether or not they're free. It's hard being a troop ministry because, you know, when you're a troop ministry, you're a target. The other thing is that we're very thorough in what we do and what we say, whether or not you agree with it. Always ask yourself, have you done the research? Have you looked into these things? Have you done the studies? Do you seek the Most High? What is the Most High telling y'all about all this? That's a good question. As I stated before, do you know the Bible says that most people are not going to survive? Do you know the Bible says that men are going to be rare, like gold? The fine gold, men are going to be rare. Do you know what that tells me? At some point, this world is just going to become like the Book of Eli. Y'all saw that movie, right? With Denzel. I'm just saying, assuming you believe the Bible, because I do. It's not the rosy colored ending. Well, maybe in the end it's rosy colored, but I'm just saying it's not going to be the non-obstacle way to eternity. We must through much tribulation into the kingdom. It's not a clear path without obstacles that we get into the kingdom. See, Christianity got y'all think we're going to be raptured. Christianity got y'all thinking God is just going to come here and put you on a boat and you ain't got to fight. Christianity got y'all think that God just going to send his angels before you and do this and that, and maybe he will. But do you not know when them Israelites were in the wilderness, they had to fight? Come on now, give me a one if you know that the Israelites, when they were in the Exodus and in the wilderness, and though they had God with them, they had to fight. Ain't nobody teaching that. Ain't nobody telling you to prepare. All they could do is gaslight you and say, well, Jacob said this, Jacob prophesied this, Jacob. No, and I didn't. They don't tell you the whole truth. And when I move away from certain groups and certain people, some of y'all get upset because I don't unify with people. I told you why. I don't trust everybody. Some people don't have my best interest. Some people don't have your best interest. Some people don't have the interest of the Most High. That's just facts. You think I always want to be the one causing strife and trouble and tribulation and not getting along with people? No, you can't get along with everybody. That's a fact of life. You know that as well as I know it. You can't get along with some of your family members. You got family members you grew up with, used to be on sleepovers and all that stuff and had fun as kids, and y'all don't even talk to each other anymore. I know I do. But you want us to all get along because we Israel? It's not going to happen. Everybody don't have my best interest in mind. They don't have your best interest in mind. Some of y'all just want to get along for the sake of getting along. No, I don't roll like that. If you don't have my best interest, if you don't have the best interest of my people, if you don't have the best interest of the Most High, I'm not going along with you. I'm not. That's why I try to tell y'all, I am who you see. I'm not hiding, which is why sometimes I'm emotional and sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I get angry and frustrated. Sometimes I don't. Because I am who I am, right? You love me or you don't. I've always been that way. But you can trust me. I'm not going to betray you. I'm not going to take your money and run away with it. I'm not going to steal your wife. I'm not going to lie to you and steal your home and your house and tell you got to give me all your money so I can look out for you. I'm not going to do that. I don't roll like that. Even if you don't like me, I'm not going to tell you a half truth or a lie just so you can like me. I don't roll like that. I tell the truth, whether you hate me or not. I love the Most High. I look forward to seeing y'all on the continent. I mean, be honest, I don't know how much time we got left. I'm just being honest. I don't know. I don't know how much time we got left. It don't look like a lot. It don't look like we have a lot of time. So hopefully you prepare. I'm not trying to put fear in you. I'm not trying to make you scared. But I will say this. If you have family, let's say you're a single woman and you live by yourself and you got sons and stuff, make alliances with your sons where y'all near each other. If you got uncles and cousins and brothers that you get along with, or neighbors, right, that you get along with, you need to make alliances with them, right? You need to have friendly relationships with people who you trust. Because when all hell breaks loose, you don't want to have somebody behind you or with you that you don't trust. And you have to have the spirit of discernment to learn who to trust, which is why I don't have a lot of friends. I've never had a lot of friends because I don't trust most people. I've been betrayed by people who were supposedly close to me. So by nature, I don't trust people. I've been betrayed several times. But I see it's human nature. Why? Because people have their own agenda, and their agenda is to take care of them. Their agenda is not for you a lot of times. But here's my philosophy. How do we all get out of this thing unless we come together and trust one another? And I'm not saying blind trust. I mean, literally, we got to be led of the Most High, because we can't trust all our folks, obviously. We can't trust most that look like us, obviously. We can't trust most Hebrew Israelites, obviously. You have to have discernment. You got to let people prove themselves over time. Don't you just give your money to people either. I'm going to say that. Don't just give your money to people. Don't do it. Especially if you're going over there to the continent. Don't send them a check. No, you need to go over there. If you're going to the continent, you need to see the layout of the land. You need to talk to the banks, and you need to talk to the government, and you need to talk to the administrators and see if everything is straight. You need to take personal action. Don't trust people to look out for your interest. Now, like I say, I'm different. Now, if I was out there and I was setting things up, I'd do it. I'd be like, hey, here's everything. Here's the line items. Here's the government stuff, all that. But guess what? I wouldn't even tell you, give it to me. You know why? You need to be on the ground. You need to be personal. You need to handle your own business. Don't trust people with your money. Don't be writing thousands and thousands of dollars in checks and giving it to people you don't know. If you know them and they prove themselves and they have been trustworthy, then yes. If you can trust them, you have a relationship with them, you've learned from them, you've seen them move, you know their heart is right, they're not looking to rob you, they're looking to serve the Most High, and you've seen fruit unto righteousness, then okay, fine. But if you don't, you need to hop your butt on over to Africa and see everything and handle the business yourself. That's the way my daddy told me. Handle your business. Look out for yourself. I'm not saying you can't trust people, but you know how they say trust but verify? I'm going to tell you, there's one good thing about our people that I like. We are very trusting. At the same time, that trust can be abused, and it has been, and it has and will always be until the Most High brings us back to the land and he whips us in the wilderness. And then he deal with the rebels. That's just a matter of fact. You cannot ignore that we are fallen humans, and everybody got an agenda. And if you're ever a leader and you're in a position of leadership, watch out, because they're coming for you. Watch out. They're going to act like they're supporting you and they're on your side, and you might get seduced by a woman. And if you're a woman who in leadership, you might get seduced by a man. You might even be married. You got to look out for that. Because guess what? The enemy ain't always coming with white skin. As a matter of fact, the worst enemy is the ones who look like us. They're the worst. Because you like, hey, that's my brother. That's an Israelite. He got agendas. She got agendas. They don't really believe everything they tell you they believe, and they don't live up to everything they tell you they believe. And then they make up doctrine, like the sealed portions, mind you. Well, fam, the world is at war. I hope you have your armor on spiritually first. I hope you made preparations physically and spiritually. I hope you have some extra food, some extra water, a few dollars on the side. Because just to let you know, I didn't mention this, and maybe y'all know it. Y'all do know that Cuba economy has crashed, right? You do know that the people woke up one morning and no money in the bank. I mean, literally, no money in the bank. No access to ATMs because the ATMs are empty. Cuba ain't got no more money and they're going into a digital system. That's going to happen here. You're going to wake up one morning. The banks are going to be closed. No money in the machines. No access to cash. Your credit cards ain't going to work. And you ain't going to be able to buy no food. Now, if it's already happened to Cuba, what you think going to happen here? And when it happens here, because Cuba was, is a communist regime and has a little more authoritarian control over their people, they ain't go buck wild. What you think gonna happen here when them banks close and you can't get no cash? And they say we're moving into a digital currency, but until then, you ain't got no money. What you gonna do? I could tell you what them folks gonna do. It's gonna be all hell. It's gonna be chaos. They're gonna be bringing out the pew-pews. They're gonna be burning down buildings and breaking into stores and stealing stuff. Y'all know it. But Yacoba says the sky is falling. Y'all don't want to listen to him. That's okay. Cuba is an aberration. Cuba is an aberration. Don't worry about it. He don't know what he's talking about. Okay. All right, fine. I got my preparation going on. Now, I don't have a lot. I told you I ain't rich. I do the little things I can. Little extra water here, little food here, little that. Something to get along. Look, if I need to be able to get some gas, I got a few dollars out so I could take that, buy some gas, and get back to wherever my family at. Hopefully. Also, I communicated with my family. I say, look, if we get separated, and we got to get out the country. I say, you're gonna find me in certain place in Africa. I ain't gonna tell y'all because everybody gonna be there, and then I might not be able to get in then. Certain place in Africa, right? You gotta decide, work it out with your family. Say, look, if we get separated, here's where we gonna meet. Because there's a high probability we're gonna get separated if we make it out alive. I know y'all think I'm overly exaggerating the situation, but I don't think so. So, fam, thank y'all. This is just the way the world is. I got to do my part because, I told y'all, I go through a lot. My brother could tell you I go through a lot. Y'all don't know half the stuff I go through. But I still do these shows. Why? Because the Most High ain't tell me stop. But I hope to make it back to the continent. I hope to make it back to the land. I hope that I be part of the Exodus. Because nobody knows if they're going to make it. And these people are literally, and you think I'm lying, you just don't see the weaponry. These people are literally trying to take us out. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to end. So my mom has pneumonia, and my brother had to take her to the ER, pray for me, She's doing better. And so my brother stayed with her in the hospital. And so, there was this doctor, he was an Asian guy. And the Asian guy, the doctor, he said, "They're trying to kill us. They're trying to kill us." You're like, what you mean? What you talk about? They're poisoning our food. They're trying to kill us. And my brother like, yes, they are. And they had a long conversation on it. And see, we're not the only ones who see what's happening. Other people do too. It's not just Israelites who see what's happening. But stick your head in the sand. It'll catch up to you. Can't say I didn't try to help, but it is what it is. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is ending. Love you with the love of the Messiah. If you want to support this ministry, you can by sharing, subscribe. You can also support it by becoming a patron. You can also support us by giving that Cash App, $TEOTW 7101, $TEOTW 7101. And also you can support us by going to giftgivingforall.com, buy a mug, t-shirt, stuff like that. And if y'all could go over there, help our sister out, because she benefits off of that a lot. And it helps the ministry somewhat. And also don't forget, you got the Dry Bones Project. Go to their websites, go to their channels and support them and listen to what they're doing. And maybe you can learn something. Maybe you can find people you can work with and trust. The people that supported the Dry Bones, we trust them. I mean, whether or not you have issues, people gonna have issues, but I think everybody who we associate with has good intent, right? That's what we believe. All right, fam. So love y'all with the love of the Messiah. Peace and blessings, Israel. Your captivity is definitely ending.